Board of Education. Call it 6:01 p.m. Can you have a roll call, please?
Mr. Benitez?
Here.
Ms. Champagne? Here. Ms. Stephen? Here. Mr. Cook?
Here.
Mr. Nordstrom?
Here. Thank you. Could all please stand and join me in our pledge of allegiance? I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, again, welcome everybody. We will move right on to our agenda, staff, student, and community celebration, community partner recognition. And Dr. Pawelczyk is going into the lecture.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. I have the pleasure this month of recognizing some of our community partners. There are 3 organizations that we intended to honor today. One of them, unfortunately, person representing them fell ill. So I just want to quickly acknowledge the Mother's Trust Foundation. They have been a solid partner for with our district for years and years. Their mission is to help provide financial support for those families and those students that are in need. And for years they have been, upon request from our guidance counselors and social workers, been very generous with their giving. Recently, they do a lot for our students with some of the ancillary fees that that are sometimes out of our control, particularly some of the fees that come with tech campus enrollment, and they need to get supplies and things of that nature. They will take care of them, along with eyeglasses and really anything. So I just want to publicly thank them, and I will circle back with the Mother's Trust Foundation and the folks that run that organization to make sure that they get the certificate and everything we have for them. The other 2 organizations that I want to recognize tonight are the Northern Illinois Food Bank and Humanity First of Lake County. And here representing the Northern Illinois Food Bank is Steve Christensen, if you don't mind coming up, sir. And representing Humanity First is Junaryd Latif. Come on up. Let me just share a little bit about what they do for us. So their organizations on a bi-monthly basis provide a mobile food drive for our community. We partner with them with the simplicity of allowing them to use our parking lot over at Zion Bend East. Also, many of our students will volunteer along with community members, serving probably hundreds and hundreds of families over the course of the year who drive up. They get any number of food items for what they need, and the financial support and the food support they give, along with the volunteers, and then the partnership with our school district, particularly the opportunities for our students to be involved in that is very much appreciated with all that they do. So on behalf of the school district, we have a certificate for each of their organizations. Humanity First. They're going to put that on their refrigerators. Isn't that what you mean? And then also the Northern Illinois Food Bank for you, sir. And then we have a little gift bag for each of you with a little ZB swag. So I appreciate the Office of Human Resource supporting us. So they have a couple upcoming food drives. I'm going to get my dates right. It's Saturday at 10 a.m. on January 10th. March 22nd and May 17th. And I also want to make sure for anyone who would be interested in donating financially to both of these organizations, they can do that online. And then they're always welcome to volunteer, and they, have those opportunities as well. So, gentlemen, we thank you. And I wanted to give you all both an opportunity to say something if you wanted to, but you're not obligated at all.
Well, thank you, Dr. Pawelczyk.
Yes.
Pawelczyk.
Pawelczyk, yes, sir.
Hello, everyone, and thank you for this opportunity to speak in front of the board, and thank you for this recognition for everything that we've been honored to be able to do. In Northern Illinois Food Bank has been partnering with our group for over 15 years or so. Initially, we were based out of our Mission House, Ahmadiyya Muslim Community Mission House, right here on 21st Street. Once COVID hit, and we weren't able to do it in that closed situation, environment, we had to look for community partners to be able to offer this service. And the Zion community has always, stepped up. And initially we were doing the service at the Park District, but as things started rolling again there at the Park District, we looked for a next partner, and the high school has been amazing in providing that opportunity, because like you said, it's hundreds of families throughout the northern Illinois area that have fed through this program, and it's all due to that space that's provided, the food that's provided, and the volunteers who come out. And the High School Honor Society is a big part of what we do. Some of the teachers have come out. And not just the Honor Society, other students as well have come out. So I want to thank you all for your leadership and your guidance, and inspiring the kids to serve in this capacity. And we just encourage them to continue to do that. And thank you again for that opportunity.
Thank you.
To serve the community.
Sure.
Northern Illinois Food Bank is proud to have partners like Humanity First and like the school district. And we're just so grateful that the community has, all over Northern Illinois, have stepped up, not just now, not just during COVID, but for the last 40 years. That's how long Northern Illinois Food Bank has been serving the 13 counties that we're entrusted with. The need is great, and I don't think I have to tell anybody that a lot of it has to do with costs of food. A lot of it has to do with underemployment and unemployment. Last fiscal year, we served 91 million meals, and we're on track to do that again this year. And we wish we didn't have to. We wish we couldn't brag about numbers like that. We wish this was a problem that would go away, but it's not going away. So the support that we get from organizations that partner with us, and from school districts and community organizations that allow us to put our mobile pantries and to open up their hearts and hands and arms to the neighbors that need help, we couldn't do it without you. So thank you very much. I left some newsletters on the desk, and if you want to find out a little bit more about what we do, these aren't even in the mail yet. I just got these from the printer yesterday. So yeah, please take a look, and there's some website information in there. So thank you very much, and thank you for this.
And that concludes our presentation for this evening. Thank you.
Thank you. I want to thank you for the work you continue to do throughout the community, which helps our families, which then helps our students, and keep the circle going. So thank you very much. All right, we will move on. Next item is communications from staff, guests, and district residents. We have an additional part of our agenda that I will be reading to try and help encourage a good dialogue here. First item is board president's statement. District 126 is committed to an equitable, respectful learning environment where bullying, harassment, racism, sexism, and hate speech have no place. Please partner with us in fostering a positive community. With that, we will move on to our public comment section. Staff guests and district residents may address the Board of Education during the communications from staff guests and district residents portion of the agenda. Please sign in below. You'll have people making comments will be limited to 3 minutes per individual, and we will try and make sure to give you a heads up about 30 seconds if you're about to run out of your time. And first person is Kelly Regnier.
Good
Good evening.
Good evening. How's everyone? Okay, so I'm Kelly Regnier. I've been a teacher here for 28 years, and I'm also the president of the Zion Bend Federation of Teachers, representing almost 300 members. And I'm not here tonight to complain. So everybody take a deep breath. We're all good. I'm actually here tonight to talk to you about cell phones, and I recognize the irony of me reading my speech from that. Typically, we as a union don't talk about cell phones, right? That's a policy issue, and we leave that to folks such as you to deal with. Unfortunately, District 126 has no real policy regarding cell phones in classrooms that has any kind of teeth to it, like none. The commonly held practice of allowing each teacher to create their own policy is not working. And that's because cell phones aren't a distraction, they're an addiction. I'm going to say that to you again. Cell phones are not a distraction, they are an addiction. This district has taken strong stances on banning addictive substances from our campuses. No vapes, no smoking, no hats, right? Like, we are really, really powerful as a community in saying we don't want our kids exposed to addictive behaviors. So there's no real reason to treat cell phones any differently than any other addictive substances. And like any addiction, cell phone use among our students regularly results in mental health issues for our students, particularly anxiety. Like I said, I'm not here to complain tonight. On behalf of the members of our union, and in the spirit of the holiday season, I actually come bearing gifts. We are providing each Board of Education member and Executive Director with a copy of the book, The Anxious Generation, to help you better understand what we are seeing every day in our classrooms and hallways. I beg you to read it and to come to the D126 community with a solid plan to fight this addiction on behalf of our students and sometimes in spite of them, because their brains aren't developed enough to know what damage they're actually doing to themselves. We see it over and over again. By spending the time detached from their education and in their virtual worlds. As a union, we hope that you will see this as a gift and not a complaint, and an effort for us to work together to create a solution that's going to benefit our community. Thank you, happy reading, and happy holidays. Scott? Sorry, executive directors and principals. They'll have to loan them to you guys. Got it. If anybody already has a copy, share the love. Thank you. How was it? Okay, to the next one. Yeah, you should be.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Cynthia.
Somehow I knew.
Deb Will ordered them, you got books. Thank you. Sorry for the protracted distraction.
Thank you. It's certainly a topic that is, I just attended the webinar this past week on the very topic for the workplace. Next name, Noah Colson.
Good evening, school board members. My name is Noah Colson, a junior here at ZBTHS. As an upperclassman, I come here representing myself as a student and many other students within our building on an issue where students and teachers alike recognize is problematic and harmful to our learning environment. This issue I'm here to present to you today is the bathroom situation here at our school. The lack of open bathrooms on a given day is astonishing. Most bathrooms around the building, including the ones just built near the south cafeteria, are closed, often all day. Usually, students will have to resort to single-use bathrooms that always tend to have a line, since they are the only bathrooms open. This hurts our learning environment greatly by causing students to miss more class time than they need to because they are forced to find or wait for a bathroom when they could be gaining knowledge. This is especially problematic for students on the far side of the building in our CTE wing. I, as a CTE student myself, have on occasions been forced to walk almost the entire stretch of the building just to find an open bathroom, since the ROTC and South Commons bathrooms are closed at all times. This means missing 10+ minutes of class because of the journey to the bathroom and then having to wait for it to be open. Meanwhile, the superintendent was given a private bathroom connected to his office suite in the new administrative wing that I am standing in right now. This leads me to a greater issue. Tonight, I ask the administration and school board, what are your priorities? Is it the students or the administration? Funneling millions into building yourselves a brand new ivory tower, yet we cannot have open bathrooms. If this is played off as an attack against the school's issue with vaping, I take issue with that too. Closing the bathrooms for students will not fix that issue. I know firsthand that the numbers reflect this. 94% of our students report not vaping regularly. So we close the bathrooms of 100% of students to stop the actions of 6%? Teachers and students alike agree that this issue needs to be addressed. 2 or 3 bathrooms at a time for over 2,000 students cannot work in any capacity, especially when they are not cleaned or renovated in the slightest. So tonight I come knocking on the door of your ivory tower, asking respectfully as a student, where do your priorities lie? Is it with the efficiency and satisfaction of students? Ask yourselves this question when you walk through your new administrative hallway. Ask yourself that question when you have to decide what to use my parents' taxpayer dollars on. And ask yourself that question when you see the morale of students and teachers plummet. Thank you for your time and Merry Christmas.
His name is Sydney Wright. Good evening.
Good evening. My name is Sydney Wright. I'm a student here at Zion Benton, and I'm here expressing concern about the grading system currently being used in District 126. Specifically in trouble by the fact that students can pass a class by effectively earning a 30% overall. So here's a brief explanation of how that's possible. Any grade below 50% but higher than 0% is recorded as a 1 out of 5 in the system. There's no decimal, not 1.2 or 1.3. It's a 1 out of 5. And a passing grade overall, which is a B minus, is a 1.5, which translates to earning about only 30% of total points. There's inconsistency between assignment scores and overall class grades. For example, a 2.5 out of 5 in an assignment is an F, but a 2.5 overall in a class in Skyward is a C. This inconsistency makes grading confusing and inaccurate. For example, I spoke with a teacher that shared under a traditional percentage-based system, 10 students would be failing their class. However, after conversions going through Skyward, only 3% are recorded. Only 3 of them are recorded as failing out of the 10. When the bar is at this low, grades lose their value and fail to reflect what students are truly earning, whether good or bad. This not only risks misinterpreting student performance, but also raises concern about whether District 126 is properly preparing students for post-secondary opportunities. As a stat saying 90% of students are graduating on time is easy when only need 30% in the class to do so. I respectfully ask the board consider returning to a traditional percentage-based grading system for the next school year. Doing so would ensure that grades accurately reflect student performance and help foster a stronger academic environment. I'd be happy to discuss further and share additional insights because the quick explanation leaves out another massive problem that grades also rounded down is an F or an A. For example, 89% goes in as a 4 out of 5, with 4 out of 5 is 8%, so you miss the 9% mastery that student earns in that class. Thank you for your time and your attention.
And the last name I have here is Blake Fortenberry.
Hello, I'm Blake Fortenberry. I'm here to talk about cleanliness in the school, which is not something I normally talk about, but I've heard from multiple people issues with classrooms being clean, locker rooms being clean, weight rooms being clean on a regular basis. I'm hearing that teachers have to put in a work order to get locker rooms clean when they're messy. This represents a health risk, right? Like, locker rooms can get gross. I was a gross high school kid. I sweat a lot. It's all over the place. They should be wiped down daily. And we're paying $1 million to a company that does all of our cleaning within the school, right? And so I just think that, A, we should hold their feet to the fire about it and make sure that every classroom is clean, not just the hallways or the high traffic areas so we can see it, but that they're emptying garbages, that they're mopping floors, that they're vacuuming. And I know you can't hit every place every day, but once a week, it shouldn't be months before classrooms get touched. You shouldn't have to put in a work order to get weight rooms, locker rooms cleaned. That should be an expectation. Bathrooms, places that there is a legitimate health risk, right? That doesn't make sense. So I just think that we should hold them to a higher standard, because again, we're paying them over $1 million annually to to keep the school clean. And that's fine, but let's get $1 million worth of cleaning in the school, and not just, I mean, this room looks immaculate, but again, if I walk into a random classroom on a random night, I'm sure I would find something, right? That's all I have to say. Let's just make sure that we're getting our money's worth out of good cleaning crew. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
President Nordstrom?
Sir?
I was setting up, I didn't have time to get over there and sign in.
Okay, I was just going to say, that was the last name I had signed in, but as I usually do, if there are some who would like to comment, we ask that you don't repeat too much of what has already been said, but please, Mr. Foster.
Yep, thank you, appreciate it. And I've got to tell you, this is the best turnout I think I've seen in here in a long time, so I'm going to get some shots of you guys. I hope there's no open warrants out here anymore. I'm George Foster, been here quite a few times. But yesterday, I had the honor of getting a very nice tour from Dr. Bridges of the entire facility. And I just got to tell you, I was blown away. I was amazed by what I saw. On the positive side, you know, I went to a little country school in central Vermont. We didn't have anything like this. And when I saw the welding department and some of this other stuff and the equipment that you have provided to the kids, from a technical standpoint, I know welders can make some good bucks out there if they get on a good job. And the woodworking and the other areas that I saw, and the electronics and the AV and the videography and photography area was just amazing to me. And then, of course, I got to see your Olympic-sized swimming pool and your performing arts center, so that was a cherry on top, if you will. The basis of why I wanted to spend the day or the morning with Dr. Bridge was to get an idea of how I can help get the word out into the community. So we're going to enter into back and forth every month to where I'll be putting on my digital frames that are out in Zion and Winter Harbor, the TV sets, a feature that she will create then, and we will start to identify the key points of the school that might interest more action from the community, more involvement and so on. On the positive side, we can always improve on little things, and cleanliness is one of them, I'll give you that. You know, that's important too. But from what I saw, I was amazed. I was absolutely blown away. So I don't want to be here to be a critic, I want to be here to applaud and congratulate you for providing what I would call just an amazing facility. It can always be improved on, like with the bathrooms and things like that, but we identified that at the facilities management plan that's being provided now. And it's going to be again on what, the 3rd of February?
Yes.
3rd and the 5th, I believe, here in New Tech. So again, thank you. Don't want to go over in time, but I really enjoyed my tour. I really did. Thank you.
I saw you called that out on Facebook today.
Yep, got her out there.
All right, anybody else like to have an opportunity to speak?
I will.
Mr. Stevens.
Good evening, my name is Larry Stevens, and I'm a resident of the Zion School District area, living in Winter Park. First of all, I'd like to turn around and say congratulations to these two young men, young lady and young man. You did an excellent job. Thank you. And your topic was excellent also. This is the first time we've had this kind of crowd at a school board meeting in the last year. I've been to all the meetings, and this is what we don't see. We had the meeting the other evening for the upcoming, what do you call this one? This one is called the Facilities Master Plan. They asked the community to come out and include the community in those discussions. You know how many community members we had there? 2. And they're talking about spending millions and millions of more dollars. I brought up the fact that they would spend $25 million here in the last couple of meetings, and I asked if that was part of this, and it is not. This is more money. You guys need to be here. This entire community cannot afford what you people are spending. If you look at our tax bills, every one of them goes up every year. But yet, there are 17,000 high schools in the country. We're rated 13,000. We've got great facilities, but we're not producing good products. And why not? We've got the money, we've got the facilities. They're spending our money and not producing the product. And we need people to come out in the community to support this. There are a couple of us that have been here every meeting and said our piece every week, and nothing changes. Please help us. We need help here. This school board is going to run us broke. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Okay. Moving on. We are moving on to our consent agenda. Do I have a motion to accept the consent agenda items as presented? Motion by Ms. Stevens, second by Ms. Champagne. Any questions or change? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Ms. Champagne? Aye. Ms. Stevens? Aye. Mr. Cook?
Aye.
Mr. Benitez?
Aye.
Mr. Nordstrom?
Aye, thank you. All right, that brings us to our superintendent's report. Dr. Rodriguez.
Thank you, President Nordstrom and members of the board, students, faculty, staff, and administration. As a superintendent's report, the first item that we have is an announcement. This year, as we do every year, the Office of Student Services, along with the community, is proud to announce that December 18th, from 9 to 5, in the South Commons, we will be distributing gifts to our students, our community. So the Santa Pop-Up Santa truck will take place again. It's a beautiful activity that you don't see in many school districts. And again, I have to say thanks to all staff members and Mr. Carson and his department for putting this together. With that, a couple of days ago, we had a State of Education in our community where our foundational school districts came together and we spoke and we talked about the success stories for each district. One of the things that you will see, and you do see it here, is the banners for the joint legacy statements for each board. So our boards came together, and this is what we voted on. And I just want to mention that this is the first time that we celebrate together. In my 4 years as a superintendent, this is the first time that every school district chose academic gains in the report card, in the overall index. So that is something to celebrate. That is something great, not only for us, but also for District 6, 3, and 1. I have a short video that was put together by Mr. Angelos and his students. So again, last to celebrate from a phenomenal performance by our NJ or ROTC a couple of days ago as well, to our musical presentations, to yesterday night those Letterman jackets for our students, all students receiving one, a pack. Gymnasium. It's been 3 weeks of late nights with showing the excellent work of our school district and what our students are able to produce. So again, I just want to thank you, board, for setting direction. Here you do see some pictures of our CB and JROTC. That was a phenomenal activity that we put together, as always, showing excellence. We have another picture, right? Next slide, Katie. Our athletics, our varsity 9, providing resources, bringing this idea of CB Pride back, into our school district. So again, it's been a phenomenal semester. We are going to finish strong, and we're going to continue to make Zion Benton, the best school district anywhere. There's great things happening. There's work to be done. I heard loud and clear some of the comments. I will address that immediately. But I also have to say that when you come and you see what our students do every day, opinions do change. When you come and see and you do a tour of the excellent work that our students are doing and our staff, you do see clearly the great investment that we made, not only in our facilities, but also in our staff. So I thank you, board, and that concludes the superintendent.
Okay, thank you. Reports and discussion. We have our ZB principal report and Zion Benton East principal report. I see Dr. Brown. Coming to the lectern.
You're just gonna click next.
Good evening, board. It is a pleasure to present the December's principal report to you on behalf of Ms. Pawelczyk. We ask that you please keep her family in your well wishes and your thoughts during this holiday time. Tonight's report will include 3 updates. The first update will be on instruction, the second will be on operations, and the last will be celebrations. So instructionally, students have been actively engaged in a number of different things, particularly in before and after school math and literacy labs. We've seen that tick go up a little bit. We've had routine meetings with our interventionists, including our behavior interventionist, which is a core member of our core attendance team. And the emphasis continues to be on work completion and preparing for our final exams. Now, likewise, our staff have also been actively engaged. There's been some professional development that has been had, and that's the integration of ACT skills into our lesson plans daily. We've had some high-impact teaching and learning strategies in our classroom, where teachers are generally working through those 3 to 4 questions of a professional learning community. Those 4 questions are: what do we expect students to learn? How do we know when students learn it? How do we respond when they don't learn it? And how do we respond when they already know it? The key word in those 4 questions is we. The focus, again, continues to be on student success throughout the remainder of the school year. That is our aim. Our next update is operational, and so that includes the examination of procedures, policies, and practices to ensure that we have maintained a safe and secure learning environment for every stakeholder that's in this building. And so that included streamlining student entry, which we'll show on the next slide, some new lunch practices so that we are able to feed students and nourish students in a reasonable amount of time. Our school improvement team has identified some barriers in student learning and in attendance, and partially to address the electronic device, which we know is a barrier. There's going to be a recommendation regarding cell phone use during instructional time, and that's to come in the next few months there. So that's a very important piece of our operational updates. What we'd like to draw your attention to is our second semester change on how we receive students into our building in the name of, 1, understanding that every period is important, and in the name of safety. So starting second semester, if you are a student, you are not in the building by 7:50 a.m., there is going to be 1 point of entrance, and that is going to be through the main entrance. All other exterior doors are going to be locked and secured as we work with our safety team and Mr. Hernandez. Student drivers who are also late to school, they will also be asked to walk through the main entrance. When they are not to park in the south parking lot that is now has been reserved for our teachers, so they're supposed to park in that designated spot. And if they don't park in that spot, there are going to be consequences, and that could include taking away that parking permit. Our morning tech and our PR students, our morning tech students who are going to be dropped off, they're going to be dropped off at the front as well, again, so that that entrance is one singular entrance. Our PR students will have a designated door where they can come to and they can go right into their hallway. They will also submit to a search and screening through our safety department. And we just want to make sure that we, like most schools, have one point of entrance after 7:50 in the name of both security and also understanding that first period, to put the emphasis that first period is important. Lastly, before we leave you, we want to talk about celebrations. So our ZB Giving campaign has begun, and we've had the opportunity to give every staff member a Dunkin' Donuts gift card. But that wasn't the stop of that. We also had the opportunity to give some of those gift cards out to our students, namely students who exhibited pretty good attendance. And so to see those smiles and the laughter and the exchange of gratitude was something neat to see, which really shows the uniqueness and the ability to come together for our ZB Nation. And that concludes the Benton Township High School's principal report on behalf of Ms. Bonnie Felski.
Dr. Brown, Mr. Wadley?
Good evening, President Nordstrom, members of the board, and happy holidays. I am, let me move to the right slide here. I'm pleased to report that at Zion Benton East, we continue to have a really great 24-25 school year thanks to the dedication of our entire staff. Our attendance rate is currently at an impressive 93%, and we're especially proud of the success in reducing chronic truancy. Compared to the state average, Zion Benton East had almost 12% fewer students labeled as chronically truant last year. This year, we're on track to improve even further with 3 fewer students on our watch list compared to last year at this time. Additionally, 97% of our freshmen are on track for success. Our focus on the district's Pathway to Proficiency campaign continues. This past month, all staff participated in professional development to enhance our curriculum with ACT skills. We've engaged both students and parents in preparing for the ACT, helping them to understand the importance of the test and how to prepare. We identified 46 students with the most growth potential based on the September practice test and engaged our entire student body as well. But those specific students received personalized goal-setting support, and we followed up with parent letters. Our efforts did pay off. Students saw an average increase of 5.3% in correct answers on last week's practice ACT as compared to the September one. And we're committed to continuing this student support leading up to the spring testing. We also value our partnership with families. Our Family Information Night on October 23rd was a success, with families enjoying valuable resources and exciting giveaways. Then our recruitment effort for the class of 2029 has already begun. We've held 3 recruitment evenings, and 2 more are scheduled at Zion Benton East in January. Zion Benton East offers the best of both worlds, a supportive small school environment with access to a wide range of district-wide athletics and extracurriculars. For 8th grade families considering Zion Benton East here or at home, we're proud to be the only high school in the county where students can earn up to 41 college credit hours at no cost, providing an unparalleled head start for their future. While academic achievement remains our priority, we also strive to create memorable experiences for our students. Here are a few highlights. Over on the left side of the screen, you can see on November 13th, we held a high-energy spirit assembly to celebrate school pride, honor veterans, and support our annual canned food drive. The event featured fun activities like minute-to-win-it water bottle flipping and face the cookie contests. You see some students with like little Oreo cookies on their face. We also recognize students with perfect attendance and those who made significant improvements to attendance. Over on the right, on November 26th, our staff had some fun with Dress Like Students Day, where teachers wore backpacks, pajamas, blankets, headsets, and even Crocs, much to the students' delight. They were surprised by this. It was a secret ahead of time. Our Healthy Youth organization recently hosted a Drugged and Drunk Driving Awareness Week. Students tried to walk the line with drunk goggles And here on the left, you see a student literally jumping for joy after winning a driving simulation. These dress-up spirit weeks that we have are a big hit at ZB East. And yesterday, we decorated our halls with 40 recognizable festive elves. Students enjoyed taking elfie selfies for a chance to win prizes. Many thanks to our Culture and Climate Committee for their efforts in making school a fun place for our students. Engaging in fun activities at school fosters a positive and inclusive environment while also promoting a sense of belonging and school pride for our students. On behalf of Assistant Principal Isaacs and myself, we wish everyone in the district a safe and happy holidays. Thank you.
Trying to think of something funny to say, but I'm just going to leave it.
Let it go. I did not know that picture was in there.
Okay. Next item brings us to reports and discussions. Business and Finance Committee, that will be me. And as I say each month, we discuss and hear about at Business Bid Finance many, if not all, of the things that we will be taking up here tonight. That includes Phase 3 Art, Music, and Libraries 2025 renovation project, the 2023-2024 audit, the 2023-24 annual statement of affairs, tax year 2021, 2022, and 2023 objections, public hearing tax exemption, 2023 clean school bus rebate funds, summer food service program, custodial services contract renewal, and then under other items, we heard about our capital improvements project and discussed further the status of and progress on the facilities master plan, which we'll be hearing in a little while. Any questions for me? Okay, thank you. Moving on. New business. Second reading, Press Plus 115, 116. So, we had the first reading of this set of changes last month. Is there any comment, question? No? All right. Hearing none. Sirs, gentlemen, please. Appreciate it. Do I have a motion to accept the super recommendation on behalf of the Policy Committee to approve Press Plus updates 115 and 116 as presented?
So move. Second.
Motion by Ms. Champagne, second by Ms. Stephen. Any questions? Roll call, please.
Ms. Stephen?
Aye.
Mr. Cook?
Aye.
Mr. Benitez?
Aye.
Ms. Champagne? Aye. Mr. Nordstrom?
Aye. Thank you. Next item, approval of the 2023-24 audit. Dr. Wilkinson.
Thank you, President Nordstrom and Board of Education. I'd like to update you on the fiscal year 24 audit. I'm pleased to sit here tonight and say we've had an exceptional, excellent audit for the fiscal year 24. The district CPA firm Accession indicated that the audit indicated no deficiencies in internal controls and was considered, and none were considered to be material weaknesses. Also that we followed through with fund accounting and demonstrated compliance with finance legal standards required. Also, I'm pleased to say that the district's debt continues to be paid down. We were at 10 million, we're about 9 million right now. And also our operating, our per pupil expenditures were about $612 increase. less than 3%. So saw a very little increase in terms of expenditures per pupil for students. The district's estimated financial profile score of 4 represents the highest rating that the Illinois State Board of Education gives for financial health. So the district's financial position is strong and in good shape. I'd just like to thank the board for their continued support of a conservative approach to school district finance and their commitment to fiscal responsibility while investing in quality programs and services for our students. I'd also like to thank our administrators for their work, as well as our dedicated business office staff that has helped us retain this ISBE's highest recognition, highest standard for financial health, that recognition for the 18th year in a row.
Okay. Do I have a motion to accept the superintendent's recommendation to approve the 2024 audit at this December 17th meeting of the Board of Education as presented?
Second.
Motion by Mr. Benitez, second by Ms. Champagne. Any questions? Thank you again for another strong year with our finances. Roll call, please.
Mr. Cook?
Aye.
Mr. Benitez?
Aye.
Ms. Champagne? Aye. Ms. Stevens?
Aye.
Mr. Nordstrom?
Aye. Thank you. Next item, approval of Phase 3 Art, Music, and Libraries 2025 Renovation Project GMP.
Yes, thank you, President Nordstrom and Board of Education. Tonight, the design committee is ready to bring the final proposal for the Phase 3 for the art, music, and library renovations planned for the summer of 2025. This process will be a 3-step process. One, we will ask the board to consider approving the GMP, which is the guaranteed maximum price for the project. Then we will then ask the Board of Education to consider to approve the project as a whole. And then finally, the third recommendation will be to assign the bids to Camozzi Construction as our construction manager. But before we get to that, what I'd like to do is bring up Alice Andrews from Wold Architects to give the board a brief overview of the project itself and the timeline. And then we'll have Matt Waskowiak from Camozzi Construction come up and specifically go through the GMP, which is the first action item for board approval. So Allison, you want to come on up?
Thank you, Dr. Wilkinson. Thank you, board. Glad to be back and presenting kind of an update of where the Phase 3, the 2025 renovations has landed in the work that we've been doing with the planning committee. Starting off just in alignment with the board's strategic plan of providing 21st century learning environments and aligning with those specific criteria. Our work for the summer of 2025 will include, as mentioned, the art and music, including band and choir and piano, as well as the libraries at both campuses. In alignment with other strategic initiatives, there are some other facility improvements that will be addressed as a part of this project, including continuing to update clocks, looking at renovating the kitchen environment here, as well as a few other minor parts and pieces. So starting off with the art and music wing, this is a plan of the proposed space. Just as a quick overview, we are taking what is currently a space that is up on a mezzanine level, bringing it down into this hallway to make a more accessible environment, as well as expanding the offerings for art to include 3 dedicated classrooms. So I wanted to share just some of the renders so you have kind of a sense of what to possibly expect as we ultimately would go through and complete this work next summer. This is a view of our 3D art classroom, one of our 2D art classrooms. You'll start to see a lot of the same branding opportunities to bring in that school pride and color into a lot of these spaces. And this is our multi-purpose art space that will include a lot of our 101 classes, and including jewelry. Into the band and choir section, we took the opportunity to enlarge the band space, knowing that that program has continued to grow. Really wanting to be able to house those students and all of their instruments and those things. Also took in the opportunity to bring in some natural light into the space, as well as a door directly connected to the exterior that will allow just better transition of material instruments from here to the PAC. This is our choir classroom. And then I don't have one from the piano, but the piano classroom is across the hallway as well. Then looking at continuing the efforts in our library, as you know, the 2024 renovation started this process. Now we have some renderings to share of what that final space will look like after the 2025 renovation. So a lot of time is spent on all of these spaces, meeting with the teachers and staff that will work within these spaces to provide the environments that are suitable to what they are teaching. This is a view of a dedicated maker space that will be within the library, providing hands-on learning, power, and technology to serve that. Continue to focus on supervision and how our circulation will work within the space, providing both space for soft seating as well as classroom engagement. And just another view here. Similarly, we are looking to renovate then the library over at ZB East with a lot of the same parts and pieces: space for soft seating, space for full classroom engagement, as well as dedicated space and amenities that will serve as a maker environment with a higher counter and things of that nature. Continuing to focus on maintaining space for books obviously is not something that has gone away, and that was a lot of our discussion with the staff at both buildings, is how to maximize the space for books while also providing opportunities for learning. And then finally, just as a part of both this project, we are continuing to enhance the entrances at the buildings, make sure there's identifiable entrances. So this is a rendered of the new canopy that will be at the east entrance, just to provide more shelter and shade as those students enter the building at this location. And similarly at ZB East, we're creating a secondary canopy that will be much like the current one that is at the other entrance for that same purpose. Finally, just kind of quick overview of the schedule. So we are through the design. We are still wrapping up the conversations related to the furniture for all of these spaces. We'll be planning to bring that information back once it is finalized after the new year, with construction targeted for starting in May of 2025 and lingering. It'll extend kind of through the end of that first semester into December of 2025, just given the nature of the spaces that we're touching and the extent of those renovations, structural and other components that will just take time. Being mindful of and working very closely with the administration to be mindful of limiting disruption and all of those things. As we move kind of into that next phase for the 2025 work, we'll also be starting our conversations related to the 2026 projects, including the initiatives for electric buses and full building generation, generators in case of power losses, et cetera. So we've discussed that in greater depth with BBF, but we'd be glad to answer any additional questions if there are any from the board. So with that, I'll turn it over to Matt.
Good evening. Good evening. So as Allison had alluded, we're Mosey's the construction manager that the district has partnered with here for the last several projects. We continue to appreciate the opportunities and to help deliver the district's strategic plan to invest in 21st century learning environments. So the project was put out for bid in late October through the month of November. We took bids here and opened them publicly. Read just over 30 bids and 13 packages. A lot of continued participation from contractors that have worked here before. So a lot of folks that like to continue to work with the school district. So numbers came in well. We did bid at several alternates, and we put those in front of the committee for their discussion and approval. Two of the alternates were incorporated into the overall GMP at this point, and those are the kitchen updates as well as the English department office updates to get to our total cost of construction GMP here. Below the line, we've got AE fees, furniture, fixtures, equipment, and other technology that fold into the overall project budget for the GMP for the consideration of the board. So. took a little bit more detail at the UBI committee meeting as well, but I guess if there's questions, I'm happy to receive those. Once again, thank you for the opportunity and Merry Christmas.
So with that, there's any discussion?
Anything else? Okay, let me call for the motion, and then we'll see if there's any further discussion. We have a motion to accept the superintendent's recommendation to award the guaranteed minimum price GMP agreement. Oh, is that the wrong one? Sorry. Yep. Accept the superintendent's recommendation to award guaranteed maximum price agreement to Camosi Construction as construction manager for the Phase 3 2025 renovation project as listed on their GMP recap document dated December 17, 2024 for $9,200,000, including fees and hard cost items.
So moved. Second.
Motion by Ms. Champagne, second by Ms. Steven. Any questions? I asked at BVI kind of how does this fit with plans that we've had all along for both the project and the financing?
This is totally in line with the Board of Education strategic plan, as well as your 5-year financial plan that we have established. We feel with the strength of the CEJA grant, where you're getting $3.2 to $3.4 million every year, with the abatements that we propose to keep the tax rate low, we feel that this is a balanced approach to continue our facilities enhancements, moving us towards the 21st century, which is ultimately your ultimate goal. We feel we're in a good position with this project moving forward financially and time-wise. So, yes.
Anything else from anybody else? Roll call, please.
Ms. Champagne? Aye. Ms. Steven?
Aye.
Mr. Cook?
Aye.
Mr. Benitez?
Aye.
Mr. Nordstrom?
Aye. Thank you. Next item, approval of Phase 3 Art, Music, and Libraries 2025 renovation project. Dr. Wilkins.
Yes, thank you, President Nordstrom and Board of Education. This is the second step in the process of approving a facilities project here in the district. We'll basically be asking the Board of Education to see the bids and review them, and then based on the bids received and the funding that we have proposed, make a recommendation that will include publicly reading all the bids and approving them.
Okay, so bear with me here. There's a long
list
motion here, so I'm not going to read it off of my small screen. I'm going to read it right here. Do a motion that the board accepts the superintendent's recommendation to waive any technicalities in the bidding and award the bids and alternates for selective demolition to Joler Demolition Incorporated of Arlington Heights, Illinois, in the amount of $559,050. The bid for masonry to Rasco Mason Contractors Incorporated of Grace Lake, Illinois, in the amount of $448,000. The bid for structural steel to McKinney Steel and Sales Incorporated of Zion, Illinois, in the amount of $301,490. The bid for general trades to Camosi Construction of Zion, Illinois, in the amount of $1,762,100. The bid for aluminum framing, glass, and glazing to 3F Corporation of Alsip, Illinois, in the amount of $238,600. The bid for metal framing, drywall, and insulation to the Rockwell Group of Freeport, Illinois, in the amount of $240,800. The bid for suspended acoustical ceilings to Just Right Acoustics of Elk Grove, Illinois, in the amount of $267,450. The bid for resilient flooring and base to Mako's Commercial Interiors Incorporated of Janesville, Wisconsin, in the amount of $197,118. The bid for painting and wall coverings to Oosterbahn and Sons Company of Posen, Illinois, in the amount of $120,460. The bid for fire protection to Nelson Fire Protection of Rockford, Illinois, in the amount of $150,949. The bid for plumbing to Ernie Peterson Plumbing Incorporated of Waukegan, Illinois, in the amount of $324,750. The bid for HVAC to Martin Peterson Company Incorporated of Kenosha, Wisconsin, in the amount of $728,225. The bid for Associated Electrical Contractors, LLC of Woodstock, Illinois, in the amount of $1,107,900. and owner and architect costs of $1,430,800. Do I have a motion? Motion by Mr. Benitez, second by Ms. Champagne. Any questions? Roll call, please.
Mr. Benitez?
Aye.
Mr. Cook?
Aye.
Ms. Stevens? Aye. Ms. Champagne? Aye. Mr. Nordstrom?
Aye. Thank you. Next item, approval of Phase 3 Art and Music, Approval of assignment of Phase 3 Art and Music and Library 2025 renovation project bids to Camosi Construction as construction manager.
Thank you, President Nordstrom and Board of Education. This is the third and final step where we will assign the bids to Camosi Construction as your construction manager for the project scheduled for May of 2025.
Okay, thank you. Do I have a motion to accept the superintendent's recommendation to assign the bids and alternates awarded for Phase 3 2025 renovations project as listed on the contractor report dated 12/3/2024 in the amount of $6,446,892 to Camosi Construction as the district's construction manager for the project?
So moved. Second.
Motion by Ms. Stevens, second by Ms. Champagne. Any questions? Roll call, please.
Ms. Stevens?
Aye.
Ms. Champagne? Aye. Mr. Benitez?
Aye.
Mr. Cook?
Aye.
Mr. Nordstrom?
Aye. Thank you. Next item, custodial services contract extension. Dr. Wilkinson.
Yes, thank you, President Nordstrom and Board of Education. So tonight before you, we have a proposed extension to the custodial services contract, currently with Citywide Building and Maintenance. We've had them over the last few years. We believe that they have done a satisfactory job. Again, all partners, there always room for improvement. I'm not going to sit here and say that we don't have room for improvement, but what I will say is in comparison to the service group you had prior to Citywide, you've made an improvement. And so it's one of the things that we will continue to work with them to enhance the facilities and the cleaning process. But the proposal that they gave at a 3% increase was very reasonable compared to some of the rates that we've seen over the last couple of years. Due to CPI being at 5%. So we feel that this is a reasonable increase for the next 2 years. They've also given us an option beyond those 2 years to extend again at 3%. But let's just see how these next 2 years go and make sure that we get the improvement that we're looking for in the cleaning services. But I can stand here today and confidently say you're in a better place than you were a few years ago. So.
Thank
Yes,
you.
ma'am.
Oh, hold on.
Oh, good. Yeah.
Well, let me get a motion on the motion. We have a motion to accept the superintendent's recommendation to approve the 2-year estimated custodial contract service extension with Citywide Building Maintenance Incorporated from July 1st, 2025 to June 30th, 2026 at a 3% increase to $989,349.42, and from July 1st, 2026 to June 30th, 2027 at a 3% increase to $1,019,031.66 as presented.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Benitez, second by Ms. Stevens. Questions? Ms. Champagne?
Yes. Do we have any procedure in place to spot check this cleaning company?
Yes, absolutely. They have the evening custodian supervisor goes in and checks their areas that fall behind the custodians and make sure those areas are being cleaned.
Okay, how are we missing locker rooms and weight rooms?
I don't know. That's a good question. So we'll be looking into that and see what protocols aren't being followed so that we can get that corrected.
And can we streamline the process for getting a room cleaned if it's not?
Absolutely.
Are they submitting a work ticket or?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
It's one of the things that you will find is that immediately we will have discussions about this, as the remarks today are serious and it's a priority. So I will be working with the facilities director, and I will bring back something to you as well.
Thank you.
Yeah, Dr. Rodriguez just sent out an email, and I also texted Josh, so there'll be conversation about it to make sure that we get that addressed.
Yeah.
Regarding Citywide, and I think I asked this during DBF, though there's, like, as we discussed, room for improvement, there's also comparison to a prior company. But compared to a few years ago with the same company, I believe you said that the staffing has been stable, reasonably stable. The job market for cleaning staff has been complicated at best over the last 3 to 5 years. So.
That is correct, because a few years ago, you were actually getting credits anywhere from $5,000 to $10,000 a month because they didn't have staff show up to do the job. We haven't gotten any refunds with Citywide. They've kept it staffed, and like I said, there is room for improvement, but from a staffing level, you know, we're getting the people to show up and the work is getting done. Yes, there's room for improvement, and that's what we'll focus on.
Generally speaking, it's better than a couple years ago, but again, it doesn't mean that we ignore the idea of having these conversations.
Sure, absolutely.
Great. Anybody else with a question or comment? Great. We have a motion, and a second. No more questions. Roll call, please.
Ms. Champagne? Aye. Mr. Benitez?
Aye.
Mr. Cook?
Aye.
Ms. Stevens? Aye. Mr. Nordstrom?
Aye. Thank you. Next item, approval of summer food service program opt-out. Dr. Wilkinson.
Yes, thank you, President Nordstrom and Board of Education. As we did last year, we're proposing to opt out of the food service program for the summer. Basically, we do that out of economic and safety reasons. One, you actually lose money on that program, and also you have to open your buildings to the public. So there's a security element there when we have school here in the summer for the kids. But what we propose to do, which we've done in the past, is we will provide a grab-and-go breakfast for every student that comes in for summer school. And that's how we kind of complement and make sure each student gets that breakfast, and they're out of the building before lunchtime. So we feel that this is a better option than the National School Lunch Program for their breakfast program for the summer. And then we recommend that we approve this. And then what will happen is that we'll send our petition to the ROE, and then the public meeting will be held, or hearing, and hopefully get approval like we did last year. So.
Do I have a motion to accept the superintendent's recommendation to approve District 126 opting out of the summer breakfast program allowed under the Child Hunger Relief Act?
So. Second.
Motion by Mr. Benitez, second by Ms. Champagne. Any questions? Roll call, please.
Mr. Benitez?
Aye.
Ms. Champagne? Aye. Ms. Stevens?
Aye.
Mr. Cook?
Aye.
Mr. Nordstrom?
Aye. Thank you. All right. Brings us to other business. Capital improvements update, Dr. Wilkinson.
Yes, thank you, President Nordstrom and Board of Education. Just a very quick update on our Phase 2 renovations, which was our MTSS area and the gymnasium. Just want to let you know that we're nearing the end of that project. We do have a few items that will be addressed over the winter break. And once those are addressed, we will completely close out that project. And now that we complete that project, we've approved Phase 3. The next project will be working towards that, as well as looking at, you can expect sometime in February, March, perhaps, some ordering of some of the equipment that's going to be needed for the summer of 2026, because you're going to have some switch gear, some transformers, those things that are taking a year and a half to get. In order to get your project done on time, you're going to have to order some of that stuff early. And the Board of Education has done that before. With our CTE wing, you ordered steel early. With the athletic field, you ordered the turf. We had to order that early, and we had to order the bleachers early. So you've done that in the past. Just want to let you know that that's coming down the road so that you can get those projects done on time in the summer of 2026. Good. That's all I have.
Yeah, with that board, yesterday we had an event where we had hundreds of people here in the gym, many of whom reached out to me and spoke highly about what they see, about our facilities, about how great the gym and other facilities look. And I just want to say, and I did mention that that is you know, a big part of this has to do with Word Architects and also Camosi Construction, as they have met and surpassed the expectations that we had set forward. So it is, in so many years, we have never brought something to you, we have never brought something to the board as a problem or something that is minor, and that is the partnership and the work that has been done. And again, yesterday we had hundreds of people here, many of whom were students here back in the day, very impressed with the work and happy that we're doing what we did, and looking forward to our school district continuing to do what we have done and what we're proposing to do.
Thank you. And before we move on to the update on the facilities master plan, I want to echo that. I want to thank Camosi Construction and Wold for collaborating, helping make sure that we keep projects moving, that we have that long view to make sure that things can be done when they need to get done, and that we spend our money where it needs to be spent. Thank you. Facilities master plan update.
Yes. Thank you, President Nordstrom and Board of Education. Tonight we have Allison Andrews here again from Wold Architects, who's going to bring us up to date on where we are with the facilities master plan.
All right, thank you very much. I am really excited to be here to present just an update on where we're at in the process, as we are actually coming to sort of the end of our phase 1 of this process. So as a committee, we have been doing a lot of work over the last 2 months. We've sort of established a mission and a vision, as well as some guiding principles, and really just a testament to this process as it aligns with your strategic plan to continue to look for those opportunities to invest in your facilities and create those 21st century learning environments. So I think you'll see that reflected in that mission, vision, and guiding principles, but always with the expectation that this is going to be done in a fiscally responsible manner. And that is really the goal of creating a long-range plan, is so that you can foresee your needs and you can strategically plan for those and where and how you will make those investments. In phase 1, it's really all been about identifying the needs. So you see up here kind of a list of a lot of the different ways that we've been engaging with administrators, staff, faculty, community members. We've done so with in-person meetings as well as electronic surveys, just to garner and gather as much feedback and input as we can from all of those varied perspectives. Another critical point of any facilities master planning process is to be comprehensive. So not only meeting with those folks that are really engaged in the educational practices, but also those community partnerships, and just that facility and infrastructure piece is what we want to make sure that this plan is going to be reflective of all of those different needs. So I've shared with the board just sort of a high-level summary of some of that feedback. Obviously, we had a lot of conversations. The items that are up here are things that were echoed over and over again, I think, from all of those different engagement opportunities. Again, facility and infrastructure, from keeping your buildings warm, safe, and dry, making sure that the infrastructure is there to support, the restrooms. That's come up in our conversations, every single one of our conversations. That is definitely a priority that has been emerging, but as well as the things that will enhance student engagement, continue to look to push those learning environments to better support student learning, as well as just creating that sense of this is a place of pride and engagement for students, staff, and community members, and we want to make sure it's reflective of that. So where we're at in the process, as I mentioned, the last 2 months have really been about that phase 1, identifying the needs. After the holiday break, we will be coming back and continuing our work as we move into the prioritization of those needs. We've gathered a lot of information, but we need to look to prioritize those items and then start to understand how those develop into a singular master plan for the district. So that'll be the work starting in January, and we are still right on track to bring back a recommendation to the board in March. We'll certainly be bringing updates along the way, but with that end target of being the March board meeting. It's been a really exciting and engaging process. I think we certainly want to continue to push and look for those opportunities to get more people engaged, because the more that we can hear from that broad group, we can ensure that there is consensus and ownership by everyone that
that any future investments would impact. Thank you so much, and certainly if you have any questions, I'd be glad to answer.
The meetings with the internal stakeholders, staff, and the participation has been strong. With administration, for example, we use our cabinet meetings, and we've been loyal, as it relates to putting this work together. But yes, with the town hall, participation was low, but we're not giving up. We are we're planning to send a news flash with a summary of the work thus far. We're also looking at a postcard for every household in Zion Benton. So there are efforts that the administration is looking at in order to bring awareness to our community.
Thank you. Any questions or comments from board members? Great. Thank you, Allison.
Thank you so much.
Next item, Inspire Youth and Family Services Partnership Update. Dr. Pawelczyk.
Yes, hello again. If you remember back in October, you approved an agreement with the non-for-profit Inspire Youth and Family Services led by their executive director, Michael Gonzales. And as a reminder, that is, Michael had received, and his organization received a $450,000 grant to provide mentorship, experiences, opportunities, support, and a variety of other things. Is the plan with a select group of our students who he feels and his team feel that he can work with and just help along and provide some guidance in their high school years, supporting our goal 721. So that being said, I'm like 2 phone calls away from exchanging Christmas gifts with Mr. Gonzales, because I've been working with him quite frequently on the planning process of this. But we wanted to give Mr. Gonzales, so if you don't mind coming up, an opportunity to just speak to you about who he is and what his plans are, just informational. Our plan is to get this up and running and going when we return back. And like I said, as a third-party partner in this work, thought it was important for him to just share a few thoughts. It's good to see you. Just turn it over to you.
Good evening, Board President, Board members, and community. My name is Michael Gonzales. I am a 1994 graduate of Zion Benton High School. That was 30 years ago. Wow. So I started a nonprofit agency 3 years ago. I have 24 years of experience in running after-school programs. We were ecstatic to find out that we received this grant to come back here at Zion Benton High School to service the kids. I married a graduate from Zion Benton from 1995, Ms. Connie Reyes, Connie Gonzales now. We've been married for 25 years in June. 3 daughters. I owned a home in Zion up until about 10 years ago. So I am invested in this community. So with a lot of excitement, we're excited to get our program going. We've been waiting on the state to get final budget approval, which we finally have today. Actually, it came in today after all these months of work. So we are ready to go after the Christmas break. We're gonna provide mentorship programs for 100 students here at the high school. We're going to be working with Dr. Pawelczyk and Mr. Carlson to identify the right students to be a part of this program. We're going to do career exploration. We're going to do personalized success plans with each student where kids can, this starts with the basics. Let's set a goal. Let's reach that goal. Let's build from that goal and go on to the next goal. One of the things that I found really beneficial to me is when I was in high school here back in Zion Benton. When I was 17, I joined the Army National Guard. That's how I was able to pay for college. It was started by a counselor taking us to the College of Lake County, and I saw a table that said 100% free tuition. I didn't know what I was signing up for when I said yes. Turns out I was an infantry soldier. So, you know what? That really changed my life, though. That opportunity, that exposure, just being able to see something new, see something different, it got me off the streets of Zion, if I could be honest. It gave me an opportunity to go on to do some different things and really have a successful life. My daughter is a senior at Madison. She's studying abroad right now. She's coming back Thursday, thank God. My middle daughter is a freshman at Iona University in New York on a full ride Division I basketball scholarship. And my youngest is an 8th grader, all girls, yes. Yes, all girls. So I say all that to say is that I understand what it is to be a father, I understand what it is to be a mentor and someone that runs community programs. And I want to bring all that energy, all that love here to Zion Benton. They've graciously given me the Peace Room, where we can serve up to 100 students there, where we're going to be doing daytime mentoring, where kids can come in during their lunch periods and advisories and get some mentoring with us. Along with, we're going to be doing all kind of workshops, culinary arts, graphic design, engineering. We're going to try to expose these kids to as many things as possible. However, it's going to start with us building relationships with them. We want to know what they're into. Far too often, we tell kids what they need versus they tell us what they want. So we're going to build that relationship with these students, and we're going to help them succeed. Every single kid is going to have a plan. I have a full staff ready to go. We're super excited, so we're just hoping to get past this last hurdle and get this program going in January so we can be a part of this ZB culture. Thank you.
To close this presentation, community partners add value. As Mr. Gonzales indicated, it is oftentimes an opportunity, not an achievement gap. And we're addressing that by making sure that there's safety nets for our students and opportunities after school. So we're looking forward to this opportunity to learn together and to provide our students, especially many of our students in the greatest need, with opportunities to excel.
Okay. Thank you. Anything else from anybody on that topic for now? All right. Do I have a motion to go into, oh, sorry, was there any other business under other business?
No.
Okay. We have a motion to go into closed session for consideration of the appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of a specific employees, specific individuals who serve as independent contractors in a park, recreational, or educational setting, or volunteers at the public body, or legal counsel for the public body to determine its validity, and collective negotiating matters between the public body and its employees or their representatives, or deliberations concerning salary schedules for one or more classes of employees.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Benito, second by Ms. Champagne. Any questions? Roll call, please.
Mr. Cook? Ms. Stevens? Aye. Ms. Champagne? Aye. Mr. Benitez?
Aye.
Mr. Nordstrom?
Aye. Thank you. We'll move into closed session.
Feel better?
Yeah, very good.